Kindergarten teachers, you're about to fall in love with these number talks, so let me walk you through how to use them. To begin, when you get your file, you're going to see different things, but there's a read me first file. And obviously, I want you to read that first. The best thing about this is it's going to tell you what number talks are, how there's a table of contents, how to use the hand signals, what the intro slides are and how to use them, as well as a breakdown of each of the daily slides and different ways you can use it, as well as the unit. So definitely start there. Now, number talks are something that have been around for a long time, and they're something that you can use as a warm-up to your math activities. So you can begin with this. I'm trying to get my mouse to work, by going over these different hand signals, and there's always a initial slide that's a reminder of those, so you can go over them. This is a way for your students to tell you, I'm thinking, I have a strategy, I have two strategies, and I agree, with no talking in the room. And that's really important because you want each kid to have time and wait time to think about what they're working through in their brains, and not just blurting out answers and doing the thinking for everybody else. The other thing that makes these number talks unique are these table of contents. So each day there's a breakdown, and you can just click and go straight to the slides that you need for that day. There's also intro to the math tool slides. This is just in case you maybe haven't introduced these skills yet, or you haven't used them for a while. So you can kind of give them a quick refresher. So there's an intro, and those are on the initial. So that would be like on the first of each one, but it's not going to be for each single day. And then the other great thing about it is there's directions in the bottom corner for the teacher to use. So with this slide would be look, and there's a visual cue because you're going to have non-readers in your room, and it's going to tell you what day and the directions. So when you utilize this, you're actually going to go up into slideshow. You can still see all the directions there, but then you would use the arrows on your computer or a clicker or anything that you do to normally get your screen to progress. So you would show that for 3 to 5 seconds, and then the next screen goes on that is also telling you how to use hand signals or reminding you. And then students can go back to the page that looks very similar, but allows them to show you their different strategies. So it starts off really easy. They're not going to have a ton of strategies for this slide, but as you can see, they can progress and gets a little bit tougher. So here, a student might say, and I would use my interactive board at schools to write on, but they might say, well, I see 2 slides on top and 1 at the bottom. Another student might come down here and say, well, I see 2 right here and 1 over here. So different strategies like that. So you can see that would be a Monday. Now at the end of Monday is a mental math Monday slide, and there's just some extra things to do. So for this one, how many more do you need to make 5? And down here is a little symbol that tells you you're going to manipulate something. So on this, you just pop out, and they can manipulate these boxes right here for those mental math activities. Tuesday, we're going to introduce dice, and then you can see the same type of slides. At the end, it's true or not true to introduce the kind of idea of true and false. Introduce 10 frames. So you can kind of see the problem solving with this. This is meant to be a 3 to 5 minute math warm up. It starts off a little bit slower, but your students are going to progressively get quicker with it and be able to show you more. So on this one, there's a little icon showing you to use the pen. Dominoes right here. So this is the most traditional math strategies that we have, the number talks that we have out there. Now you're going to see a big variety of math number talks. So there's some right here, and I'm working on shapes. So let me see if I can give you a preview of what that looks like. Shapes just by the fact that it's not number sense, supposedly, like right out loud, is going to look a little bit different. So you can see on our table of contents, we're going to be introducing with a lot of images and different ideas. So there's a lot more teaching slides on here that you can use. Like this is the intro to flat shapes. And then it has an intro to lots of different shapes here. So if you don't teach the oval, you can just skip over that one, or you could even delete it from your deck if you wanted to. And for this one, they would look at this slide. Directions are still in the corner. Then they would go to hand signals, and then they would explain. Now, let me go back. On this one, there's also these that you can manipulate and move to say, well, that is a curved line. Or, look, I don't see it. That's not going straight. So you can kind of manipulate those. So that is a little bit different with the shapes. So the shapes are going to go just the regular images. And then the next day, this is still day, then the next week it's going to go to in action. So let me kind of give you a glimpse of what that looks like. So it's kind of like pictures of utilizing them. And then it'll go to flat shapes, and it'll be an introduction to solid shapes. And then it'll be using the solid shapes. And then it'll go to like the objects of those. So you can kind of get a glimpse of how these are. So you're going to get a whole lot in these number talk packs, more than you can possibly use, because you're going to have days off work. You're going to have holidays and things like that. But each one is broken down so that you have plenty of opportunities to talk about numbers and math. So I hope that helps you, and I hope it is something that you can utilize in your classroom.